Well, hello, everyone out there. How we doing tonight? Wednesday, July 31st. We are here, the MCU's Bleeding Edge, to talk about a film tonight. It's been a while since we've done a DC animated review, so this is nice to get a little refresher and get a little one of these in before we start another show. So we're very happy to be playing and doing this wonderful review for you guys. This is a two-parter, so be on the lookout. This is part one movie, and we'll have part two soon. Anyways, welcome everyone, and like I said, we're the MC's Bleeding Edge. Of course, we have my amazing Mr. Co-host, Mr. Jeff S. Mr. Sloboda. How we doing, Jeff?
Fabulous, sir. Happy to be back to doing DC animated films.
Excellent. Glad to be doing that too. And of course, we have, as always, Mr. Andres, the pop culture guy. How we doing, Andres? You and
Pretty
your
good.
Batman.
Exactly. The Dark Knight Returns. Yes, I'm doing good. So excited to do this review.
Excellent, excellent. And then, of course, we have returning again. That has kind of become a regular now on the Bleeding Edge, Mr. Aston. How we doing, Aston?
I'm doing great. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. The heat waves are gone, and I just love being able to talk DC animated stuff with anybody. First time doing it with y'all, so I'm super psyched, man. Thank y'all for having me again.
As always, great to have you, sir. And look at that, people. He's doing his first DC animated with us, which is really awesome. Love it. Glad to have you for your first DC animated with us. This is actually the 15th film that we're doing. This is also the 15th. If you go by the order of all the DC animated films that have come out, this is the 15th release. Uh, as we said, the film is going to be that we're going to be talking about tonight is Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1. As you can see in our backgrounds, me and Aston both have the Batman DC Dark Knight Returns up for you guys. There you go. And we're going to be talking about this film tonight. And this is a very gritty DC animated film. I feel this is probably one of the darker ones we've seen out of the 15 we've watched. Definitely, I mean, lots of action, all that kind of stuff. And so I know a lot of people enjoy this film. It currently is 100% rotten fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, which was really shocking to me, especially, since it came out 12 years ago. So that's really shocking to find that out. I was like really surprised. So, like I said, this came out September 25th, 2012. This was direct to DVD, Blu-ray at the time. It did not have a theatrical run, but it is based off of the Frank Miller comic book adaptation from 1986, which is definitely, if you're a huge fan of Frank Miller, this is definitely up your alley, because it definitely, you felt a lot of that Frank Miller writing, that Frank Miller feel for this film. It very much, to me, it had some Sin City vibes for me a little bit, especially with some of the characters and stuff like that. So I think that definitely Frank Miller really pops out in this film. Now, this did end up going to sell. This is surprising. I did not realize how popular sometimes Blu-rays or DVDs can be when they sell. But this actually sold almost 6 million copies of DVDs or Blu-rays at the time. It actually ended up taking in almost $6 million too for that. Actually, $5,993,747 there for you. So that's surprising for a direct to DVD type of animated film, which I thought was really interesting. This, of course, is directed by Jay Olivia, who, if you don't know, he actually has been a part of a lot of DC animated projects. He actually was a part of some live action films. He was actually a part of Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. He was a part of the Justice League film. He actually directed Justice League Dark, and he's directed quite a few other and been cleanup animator and stuff like that for other DC animated films. That's kind of how where he got his start. And he actually ended up this being his first film he actually directed for DC animated. So if you're not familiar with this story, basically this is a take on an older Batman, if you did not realize that. And this is definitely a Batman that is in his golden years, if you think about it. He's definitely not, like what we've seen in previous animated films and in, live action form, 40-ish age. This is more like a late 60s, mid 60s Batman. So I thought that was kind of an interesting take. And I mean, that was back in 1986 when they, came up with this thought process. So I thought that was pretty interesting that, almost 40 years ago, they were coming up with this idea. So that was kind of interesting. All right. So this has some great voice talents, I thought of for this film. We had Peter Weller, aka Robocop, voicing Batman in this film. We had Aria Winter, Michael Emerson. Michael Emerson, you might recognize from the very first Saw film. He plays the orderly that ends up becoming a part of the game with Carrie Elwes's character at the hospital, which he's a great character actor, and I think he does a really good job. So I think he has a fun voice that is really interesting. So my first question for you guys is, how many times have you seen this? Is this your first time? And kind of, going into this, did you have any idea what it was about? I'm going to start with you, Aston.
Aston.
Hello.
I don't think he can hear us.
I think he's frozen.
I think it looks like it's frozen.
Oh, he's Iceman. He's Iceman.
So I'll go over to you, Andres.
He looks very natural, though.
He does.
Yeah.
It totally looked like he's still there.
Wait, he's moving now. He's on ice, man.
You're
muted.
You're muted.
Wait, Isaac, you're muted.
Sorry, guys, I don't know what happened. It just the browser.
You froze, Brad. You froze.
You became Iceman.
My bad, guys, for real, man. Like, damn, sorry for that. Sorry.
It happens. Anyways, so asking you again, Aston, since you're back, is this your first time seeing the film? Have you seen it before? You had any idea what this was about?
Yeah, I actually read the graphic novel way back, maybe like junior high. Actually, no, probably seventh, eighth grade. Yeah, probably read it the first time there, and then watching this. This was my second viewing. Honestly, because I saw it when it came out on one of my homies had the DVD. I think it was actually the Blu-ray, but like it don't make much of a difference when we're talking about animated stuff. Realistically, like let's be honest, it's not. But yeah, I liked the art style. I felt it was cool, so I did not mind watching it a second time. So yeah, just the two for me.
All right. And so you did have a little bit of knowledge of the comic going into it. So that's awesome. That's great to know. Excellent. Mr. Andres, same question,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. So yeah, this is my first time seeing the movie, but I was very familiar with the story already. Like, I mean, this story has been like referenced and adapted to different Batman mediums, if you've seen them. Like, my first time seeing like a piece of The Dark Knight Returns was again a cartoon show that I grew up watching, and they did that like a vignette, like a Twilight Zone kind of episode of Batman. So I was very familiar with the story before I saw this movie. I mean, like, it's so iconic. Like every filmmaker and person that loves Batman, they always look at this graphic novel as an influence for this version of Batman or not.
All right. Mr. Jeff, same question, sir.
My first time watch was today, so I really didn't have any. I had no foresight as to what the film was about or anything like that. I just knew the title of it, and I went in and watched it cold. So since there's no connective tissue really in these films really, set anything up from film to film. I really had no anticipation or anything like that regarding the film. I I only knew that it was set where he was the older style Batman, which I had forgotten was something that Frank Miller did. I love the fact that they did that this is actually a take from Frank Miller. I didn't realize that until now. I didn't watch it and think to myself, oh, this is very Frank Miller-esque or anything like that. I didn't get that vibe. But I guess looking back, I can kind of see the elements of it. Then again, I really didn't read the Frank Miller run of Batman. I was more of a Frank Miller Daredevil guy. So I don't really have that background with Frank Miller, unfortunately. And I didn't watch the animated series that was based off of, that same character, the older Batman, I believe, right? Isn't that what that other Batman show is about?
What show?
Didn't they do
Which one are we talking about?
Didn't they do a Batman Dark Knight series?
Oh, there's it's not like Dark Knight Returns, but it's similar. It's Batman Beyond.
Yeah,
where
Batman
we have
Beyond.
There's an older Batman, but Bruce wasn't the Batman. There's a kid that takes over his role as Batman. And that's Terry
Drake. Was it Tim Drake or is that Robin? Man, I'm getting it confused.
Tim Drake is Robin. It's Terry. Terry is the Batman.
I got you. So I mean, other than that, I'm not sure. I can't remember what else you added to your question, Cyber, but that's all I really had. I really liked the film. Yes, I enjoyed it.
Excellent. Nope, you answered the question, sir. There was nothing else to it. Fantastic job, sir. Great job. Everyone gets 10 million points for this question. Great job, everyone. I myself, this is, I believe, my second time watching it. I actually watched this probably back in 2017, 2018, when I first really started getting into DC animated films. And I really didn't remember it much. I knew there was parts that I was like, oh, okay, I kind of remember that. And so it was kind of rewatching it for the first time was kind of like the first time again for me. But yeah, I get where all the hoopla is. And I definitely had no knowledge of the Frank Miller run of Batman. I kind of had heard about it, but I never read the comics myself. I never really got huge into comics, unfortunately, just because it was so expensive for me. And I just, I didn't really know very many people that were into comics. So I was more of a movie guy. So that tend to be more of where I learned that kind of stuff. So, so yeah, excellent. All right. So basically, the film is pretty basic. It starts off. It's been 10 years since Batman put up his, Batman persona. He hadn't, pretty much been Batman, because basically he ended up retiring because of his protege's death, Jason Todd. And this is supposed to be back in 1986 when the movie is supposed to be taking place, just like the comic. And he is basically, it starts off with him driving in some sort of race. And he's basically, running the car to its max. And the person that's trying to help him, guide him and stuff like that is basically telling him to stop, hold back, and they try to take over, and he busts the computer in it so that he can go on. And he ends up running it down, and he ends up flipping, and he ends up bailing, and he's fine. Nothing really, a lot of damage. So basically, we end up finding out that Gotham City is being overrun by crime and terrorized by a gang known as the Mutants. Apparently, Bruce is only 55 in this. For some reason, I was thought they were referring to him as being in the 60s. But yeah, he's only 55. And he's still maintaining a friendship with 70-year-old retiring police commissioner James Gordon, who knows Wayne was Batman. And unfortunately, you know, Bruce has lost touch with another protege, Mr. Dick Grayson, at the same time. You know, after they have kind of this like nice little get together, Bruce and James, you know, James keeps bringing up stuff about, you know, Batman, and you know, Bruce is kind of like, that's in the past, blah blah blah, kind of deal. And we find out that, you know, uh, Gordon is retiring as well after so many years in the police force as well, and they kind of part ways. And that's when we end up going to Arkham Asylum, and we find out that Joker has been catatonic since Wayne's retirement. We end up going to find out that Harvey Dent is there at Arkham as well, and he has undergone plastic surgery to repair his disfigured face. Although he's declared sane, he quickly goes into hiding following his release. Dent's disappearance, news stories of the crime epidemic, and the memory of his parents' death drives Wayne to become Batman once more. We have that great little scene there where he wakes up in the middle of the night, ends up going into the Batcave. Alfred is, you know, basically kind of thrown off by it because he hasn't been in there 10 years, and the alarm goes off. So he goes to check on it and sees that it's, you know, Bruce, and Bruce apologizes to Alfred about it. And then basically he ends up, you know, after seeing all the crime and stuff getting rampant again, you can tell that, you know, things have built back up in him. That's like, I need to be Batman again. And he redons the moniker again. So before we move past that, let's get your guys' thoughts kind of on that beginning section of the film. What are your thoughts on that leading up to him donning the mask again? And what are your thoughts on this crime syndicate, the mutants, and kind of what are your thoughts altogether on kind of like this intro to you know, Frank Miller's story? Let's start with you, Jeff.
Yeah, it's a good intro. I like the older version of Bruce Wayne. He's even more like socially sort of arrogant almost at times. Like he's even more like withdrawn and to himself, you know, as Bruce Wayne can be sort of. He's more like that, more set in stone and less you know, sociable almost. He's become sort of like very reclusive almost. You know, you get the sense that him having a drink with Gordon is kind of like one of the only friends he has, sort of, in this context of his world. So I don't really know what I think about them starting off the movie with the racing scene. That was kind of hokey. Like they didn't have to go with that. They could have went somewhere else than that. But I guess it makes sense. It's very like Iron Man like reminiscent, you know, like very Tony Stark type shit. You know, like that's what it made me think is like the first Iron Man film. That's what it made me think of, or like the second Iron Man film, right? With the race. That's where I connected it to. There's a lot of stupid shit in this movie. I won't lie. Like it's a good movie. But there's some dumb shit in here, which I'll gladly point out when I can think of it during my chances to talk. I will point out the shit I think is dumb as fuck. The mutants are dumb as fuck. Just to be clear, that whole concept, they are dumb as fuck. They are goofy looking, a bunch of fucking goofy looking motherfuckers, bro. The mutants. What are you fucking kidding me? I mean, seriously, with the Cyclops fucking glasses and shit and all that shit, it's so stupid, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck is that, man? Like, how? Like, who came up with that shit? That's not original at all. As like a villain, the mutants, bro. What the fuck is that? Anyways, dude, I'm just like, you know, there's some shit that goes out with the mutants during this movie that just, I don't know, man. And then Peter Weller, or whatever his name is, just talks. He sounds too much like RoboCop, bro. Too much like RoboCop. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, there's at least 2 or 3 sequences in the film where he talks and he sounds just like you think he's RoboCop in the film. It's just, you know, it's hard to take him away from that role.
Agreed. He definitely is, you know, always going to be known for RoboCop. He 100%. You know, the first 2 films playing RoboCop. He's going to be remembered for Leviathan as well. He just is, you know, he's going to be known for those for the rest of his life. And, you know, how he talks, that's just how he talks, unfortunately. So when he played RoboCop, he just was kind of talking like himself. So it kind of is, eponymous for him to sound like RoboCop. So, you know, that's unfortunate. He was actually one of the few of the voices that I personally thought was okay. The guy that was voicing Gordon was horrible. Absolutely horrible. I was just like, that sounds nothing like Gordon at all. It was like this whining, sniveling little voice, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I'm like,
why do almost all the women look like bull dykes in the movie? They all look like bull dykes. They all have bull dyke haircuts and shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yo, I agree, bro. That it was crazy, like, because I remember in Miller's Run, like, and the style is similar. I'm not gonna knock it, but like, yeah, most the women look pretty hideous. Like, I ain't gonna lie.
Definitely. Thank you, Jeff. Mr. Andres, same question, sir.
I'm glad I'm not doing Tinder in this reality, bro.
You're crazy, bro.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, come on. The female commissioner that takes over Commissioner Gordon looks pretty good. I mean, she's pretty hot. She's the only good-looking person in this movie. But anyway,
she hates Batman, dude.
Yeah, for good reasons. But I don't condone her at all. But anyway, at least towards the end, she realized Batman is good. But anyway, I thought the beginning was really great. I mean, like, if you know the story, it's like I knew it was like, okay, he's retired, it's very 80s kind of like political, heightened universe. So like I understood that. One of the things that like is so important that I did appreciate from this and then in the comic book was the Commissioner Gordon and Batman relation, because Frank is really the first writer in the Batman books to really put emphasis on their friendship. Because that was something that it was never explored in the comics or really the 60s Batman show with Adam West. So Frank really tapped in this idea of the partnership that Batman and Gordon has, which we saw in Batman Year One when we did that review. He continued that, and that has become a stable theme in the Batman universe after this. With the Batman animation series, the Dark Knight trilogy, and of course the Batman with Robert Pattinson. So I really appreciate this segment of seeing how Gordon is and how he respects Batman as a hero, because he can bring hope into the city of Gotham, which I really like. In the animation, I gotta say I really like the animation. Like, I like how it gimmicks Frank Miller's art here, and it's really good. There's some goofy things like the opening, as Jeff said before. Like, it was very Iron Man 2. If you've seen the Marco race scene in Iron Man 2, where Iron Man versus the first time Whiplash. It was weird, but it was weird when he was racing. His, like, I don't know what you call it, like his race suit, like, looked exactly like a Batman suit. Like, his helmet had like pointy ears, and I was like, come on, dude, you don't want people to know you're Batman, right? Like, he's like all decked up as black, and
then they played it on the fucking news. That scene was on the news too.
Yeah. Yeah, like he got in that car so fast. He's like, "I'm out of here, bro." I was like, he was not in that car when it exploded. I was like, wow. So yeah, that opening was kind of weird. I don't know, is that from the graphic novel? But like, I that was really weird to just open that movie. But just wrapping up, the way he becomes, like, him coming back as Batman is really cool. Like, the scene.
We didn't go that far.
Saber, what's the end point, my sir? Saber, you're mute.
I know.
Sorry,
I was trying to unmute myself.
Yeah.
I went to when he becomes Batman again.
yeah. So
Okay, my bad, Andres.
yeah, it's good. No worries. No, um, like the image of like seeing a family die, and the the perils. It's like that's the thing that would like get him back to be Batman's, because like that's how his parents die, and like that's the whole reason he is Batman's, because like he doesn't want a family face the same trauma like he did. So seeing that image of the family, the two parents die, and then the pearls is like the final thing that trigger his return as Batman. That was all great, and very horror like too. Like that's the thing I like about that sequence, was like it was very horror, centric, and like just it was so like trauma, like very like moody, which I really like. So yeah, I really enjoyed the sequence. Just except for that whole race thing. So that's all I have to say.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, sir. Mr. Aston, your thoughts, sir, on that beginning up to him becoming Batman again?
Personally, I enjoyed. A lot of folks didn't like the race, but I get it because I feel it highlights the sense of how lost he is, how rudderless he finds himself in this time of his life. Like he's in the winter of his life. It's been, they really do a good setup of like he's been gone 10 years. We know something's up with Robin. Like all of this stuff is like, what's going on? It's like, what's with the mustache? Did he start hanging out with Ron Jeremy? I'm trying to put all this together, So if you haven't read the comic, you're already kind of lost there for a minute. And I actually like the race because it shows like he was willing to like risk it all, as the kids say today, but in the wrong way this time. And yeah, I feel the women like it's a bit much. It's a bit much for me, like seeing the broads all, very, 80s gym teacher, may have fled an Eastern Soviet former republic. Like, so me and Jeff know all about that sort of stuff, like we talk those sort of butch, they might be at Dykeman's working at the truck stop, like it's crazy. They can pull a boat with their teeth. It's crazy, like swim the Hudson, backstroke, like just crazy, all kinds of fouls. But yeah, I think the setup was good. It shows you off the gate this is not your average, family thing. Like this isn't for young kids. This is the grown-up Batman. It steps you into the tone, everything. At times I did feel the animation was a little cheap because yes, you're replicating and adapting the comic, but you could still do it a little bit better. I don't know what it was, whether it was the color that was off or just actual animation, whoever they had working on the sequences, but it just felt at times I was like, you guys could be doing better. You guys could do it a little bit better, because for me, like the top is like Bruce Timm, in the 90s. We're talking the animated series. Like it might not be the most detailed, but it still conveys the message. I expected a little bit better, but great setup. Great setup portraying him to the going and donning the cowl again. So yeah, that's me. Thank you, Cyber, for asking.
Yeah, Gotham is not really like really done well in this for me in this movie. I don't think Gotham was animated very well in terms of how the city comes off.
I can see that. Yeah, most definitely. I mean, just like Aston said, I feel like the animation definitely had its ups and downs throughout this whole entire film. And you know, I feel you really have to particularly like a specific kind of animation to understand or enjoy certain films that they make. And this is definitely one of those ones I felt I didn't feel like it was, my type of cup of tea for animation. It definitely was, like we said, it had it ups and downs. It was kind of good in certain parts, and then others there too. But at the same time, for an animated film, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't the worst I've seen, but definitely wasn't anything I would say is the greatest I've seen. I've definitely seen better animated films over the years for the DC animated films. And this one definitely was not up to par for, you know, representing such a great comic series that Frank Miller made too as well. I feel there's definitely, I feel when you're trying to replicate something somebody put their heart and soul into, you know, especially almost 40 years ago, and at this point when this came out was probably, you know, 30 something years, it definitely, you know, was something that you would want to put a lot of effort into making it look as pristine as possible. And I don't feel like they gave it the respect, the comic book, the respect it deserved. So I definitely feel that's where the animation was at for this film. Anyways, great job, guys. Everyone gets 10 more million points. You guys are fantastic, doing excellent. Great job, everyone. Excellent, excellent. So moving on from him becoming Batman once again. Basically, this is when we kind of get that like kind of montage sequence where he basically goes out and combats crimes. We see him take a whole bunch of people out. We see him like basically getting back into becoming Batman, and you know, some really good action. I thought I really enjoyed some of these sequences. I thought they did a good job with the acting, with the animation here. They gave us some really good action. He ends up rescuing 14-year-old Carrie Kelly, but struggles with the physical limitations of his age. And you know, basically we have him go out and we do all this stuff, and then we see him back the next day, you know, back home at his manor, and Alfred's having to like, you know, kink him out and everything because, you know, he's 55 and he's not, you know, 30 anymore or 40 anymore. So he's like, you know, having to get used to being Batman again, especially that it's been a decade. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things where you're like, you know, you kind of saw that coming, that he was going to have some of those kinks and stuff like that. Basically, we end up finding out that the public reaction to his return is divided, of course. Just like, you know, when he first came on the scene anyways, if you read in the comics or any of the movies or anything like that, there's always that divide between, you know, is he doing good or is he actually doing bad? You know, he's a vigilante, which is bad, but at the same time, he's taking care of the trash that's in the city. But, you know, all this stuff, it's very divided. So this is no surprise, I feel. We find out that dead psychologist Bartholomew Walper blames Batman for creating his own rogues gallery. Debt resurfaces finally, threatening to blow up a building unless he is paid a ransom. And when Debt returns, he all of a sudden looks like a mummy because his face is all wrapped up with gauze for some odd reason. You know, even though his face has been fully restored with the plastic surgery. And you know, basically, we end up getting that great sequence where Batman takes on Dent and his henchmen, and he ends up, you know, defeating Dent and his henchmen, and learning that the bombs will explode if his ransom isn't paid. He realizes that Dent intends to kill himself, because we get that scene where, you know, Dent takes off the bandages and, you know, basically is saying, everyone's still laughing at me. I know you're laughing at me, Batman, and stuff like that. And it's a kind of an interesting scene because you're kind of like, wow, this guy is not mentally fit. I don't know why they released him, but hey, it's you know, Dent. He should be good. He got a new face. And then we end up, you know, Batman ends up disabling the one bomb, and the others detonate harmlessly. Like I said, he defeats Dent, who reveals that he thinks the reconstructive surgery was botched, as he considers his undamaged half as disfigured. You know, so that once again, that goes back to that scene there with him and saying that, you know, just get it out, Batman, laugh at me, because he still thinks his face is fucked up. And then we find out Kelly dresses as Robin and looks for Batman, who attacks a gathering of the mutants with a tank-like Batmobile and incapacitating most of them. And that was kind of an interesting Batmobile. I'd never seen a Batmobile look like that in any other DC animated or movie or anything like that. Even in the comics that I have read, I've never seen any Batmobile that looks like that. More similar to the Batmobile that's in, you know, of course, the Christian Bale Dark Knight series. I feel like I've seen in comics, I've seen similar to that, but definitely not a tank like this. And we end up, the mutant leader challenges Batman to a duel, and he accepts to prove that he can win. The mutant leader, who is in his prime, nearly kills Batman, but Kelly distracts him long enough for Batman to subdue him. The leader and many gang members are arrested. Injured, Batman returns to the Batcave with Kelly and allows her to become his protege, despite protests from his butler, Alfred. All right. So before we go on past that, let's talk a little bit about this section of the film, the Harvey Dent sequence, the kind of the first outing of fighting the mutants, the Batmobile tank, the kind of the interesting take on this Kelly girl, her putting herself in the mix of this and becoming, Batman's protege, and getting to see the Batcave again and all that kind of stuff. Even after so many years, we get to see the Batcave again. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? This time I will start with Mr. Andres.
Oh yeah, so I really like this section. It's so much fun. I mean, of course, Batman returning is really great. You see him in his usual thing, coming behind the criminals unexpectedly. It's so funny, and there's one scene when Batman chase out this one robbery or a tie-in to Two-Face. That scene is lifted from The Dark Knight Rises. And you pay attention, the cops say, "Oh, kid, you get a little of this tonight." That's directly what Nolan took from the Dark Knight Rises. That older cop that's with the younger cop. That's something that was taken from that scene right there. That was cool to see in animation. And yeah, and the Two-Face thing, like Frank Miller, like again, he did such a good job of understanding the Batman villains, and Two-Face during this time he was so great in the comic books in this time, so it was really great to see Two-Face in this story, and he gets who Two-Face is. Like he's such a damaged super villain, like he has two personality, so. I was kind of curious, did he scar himself again, or the other way, which I wasn't. This was a surprise for me as a Batman fan, that he was he still had his his on disfigure face. That was kind of cool. It's just that his half self is still there, like his bad Harvey, if you want to call it, just is tricking Harvey that he's thinking that everyone around him is laughing at him because the surgery was botched. That's such a cool psychological way to show the show Two-Face overlapping again as a criminal. So that sequence was really great, and of course seeing Batman talking to Gordon was really great in this sequence. A great way to get into yourself to the move for the Dark Knight Returns. And then the mutants. So this part I knew about the Dark Knight Returns when I was growing up. Like the image of the mutant leader, I knew that when I was a kid, because one of the Batman shows called The New Batman Avengers adapted later on the segment that when Batman goes after the mutant leader, so it's so iconic. I remember that scene, so it was cool to see the mutant leaders and all that. I don't mind that their design. I agree with Jeff. It is kind of weird that they call themselves the mutants. They're not the X-Men, so I don't know why they're called them. They look pretty normal to me. But yeah, just last thing to know, Carrie Kelly. As Robin. First off, this book foreshadowed the death of Jason Todd before Death in the Family. That's something many folks shouldn't realize, that it was so convenient or accidental from Frank Miller that the idea of Jason Todd dying is the reason for Batman returning, and then it actually happened in the next few years as a major story in Death in the Family. That is crazy. And then of course the idea of having another Robin is nothing new, of course. So having Kelly there makes a lot of sense. And I like the character Kelly. I thought she was really fun. She's very adventurous, and I think she really helps Bruce Wayne in the story here really well. And when we get into part two, I like the running gag with her and Batman. If you do something out of place and you don't follow my rules, you're going to get fired. I always loved that recurring gag during this movie. But anyway, I love the sequence. Love Two Face. He's my great Batman villain that I think Frank Miller got it right. So I'm very excited to get into the other meet and fight.
Okie dokie. Excellent, sir. Excellent. Very, very well done, sir. Great A there, sir. All right, Mr. Aston, same question, sir.
Okay. I felt that this part was very interesting because they kind of intertwine, like as we said, Reagan. This set in an era, the Cold War. People like if you look at it from that perspective, it makes it that much of a richer graphic novel because of what it was talking about in the era that it was talking about it. So I give it a lot of credit. I really do give this movie a lot of credit because I had to condense, two books into one thing, and they did it right. It's almost panel for panel in certain instances when it comes to like the news speakers talking back and forth, the way Dent was dealt with, and it's kind of, I feel it does show you that humanity, and it's a very clear distinction for anyone watching. Like this is an adult DC animated, production, which, I feel the voice actors did a good job conveying it, seeing his face, the progression throughout those scenes were done very well. That tank, that big Batmobile, like everything seems good. The one thing I didn't like both in the graphic novel and in this obviously is Carrie. I don't like the female Robin character. Like I never liked it even back then. Like to me it was just like very bogus. But I preferred how they handled it in the graphic novel because they didn't hype her up so much going into it. She didn't feel so much like a Mary Sue, whereas as in this one it's like, come on, you're 13 years old. It took Robin a lot more. What I remember, one of the Robins like really had to sneak in. He didn't just like waltz in there and stuff, and sort of like. But other than that, I feel it doesn't drop the ball when it comes to pacing. It does set up the conflict, both the internal one and the one of the setting. So throughout, I think it's okay. Especially the few aspects of Gordon where we see Gordon's already kind of strained, and the relationship the two of them have is strained. If we touched on that, right? We've already had the dinner, right? Or am I wrong?
No, we've already had the dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And just seeing the adult side of it, I also think that's why it was so successful too. Because the vast majority, like sometimes I feel guys like us who are fans of comics and this genre, we kind of overlook that this wasn't always mainstream. And even now, like there's a whole lot of people who never really understood like, there is an adult, version of Batman stuff. Like you don't need to just watch this, after school special stuff. There's more adult stuff here, even with these sort of capes and heroes. So yeah, I feel it does well to convey the tone. So that's it for me. I'm sorry I overdid my 2 minutes, I think. I got a little sand timer after Jeff threw hot dogs in my face. Pause.
What happened? You're still butthurt because I threw some hot dogs at you?
He throws hot dogs at everyone. What are you talking about? It's all good.
It's all love, like a game of tennis. Shout out to Donna Vekic at the Olympics kicking some ass. I'm sorry she had to knock out.
I do that shit for myself, like because I fuck up or whatever. I'll be like, what? I'll be like myself. So there you go.
That's okay. Aston. Andreas has gone way over a lot longer than that, so you're all good. You're all good.
He's doing a lot
Yeah,
better.
it's
lately,
very
though.
true. Yes, it's very true.
You're too
He's really-
kind, gentlemen. All of you,
He-
too kind.
He's really done a good job. Andreas has on shortening his delivery. So good for you, Andreas.
Kudos to you, Andreas.
It helps
Thank
you with
you.
it helps you with moderating a lot.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah. Yep, that's very true.
All right, Jeff, your thoughts on that sequence, sir?
Well, Batman beating up that pimp is awesome. Like, you want to talk about, again, this movie is a mixed bag because it has some really good elements and it has some stuff that's just kind of cringe, you know? So it's not like, you know, I wouldn't exactly put this one in my top 5 of the DC animated films we reviewed in any, you know, way, but it's still a solid animated film. It's still pretty solid. I enjoyed it. It had me like caught, right? Once it got going, it had me caught up in it. And I was like really into it and like writing a lot of notes and shit the whole time, you know. My notebook is getting swallowed up by the green screen. That's a notebook, folks, just to be clear. Fucking green screens, man, I'm telling you. They just
Not White Vision's penis.
I know, what the fuck, man. For real. White Vision's penis is a lot better looking than that. But much bigger than that, too. But no, him beating up that pimp is awesome. I love the dialogue between the pimp and the prostitute. She's like, don't hit me in the face or whatever, you know, like not the face or whatever, you know, like it's pretty adult, you know. I love how they have the theme like they always do in a lot of these really good DC animated films of using the news as a theme throughout the whole film. They really do a good job with that in this. I really like it. It adds to the entertainment value when they have the, like, you know, the psychologist guy come on and all that shit that says that Batman is like, you know, like he's the bad guy of everything and all that crap. It's kind of sad. It's kind of stupid, but it's also kind of interesting. And seeing him come back, I don't know what was up with that tank he had. That shit was like a fucking Humvee almost, like, but like even bigger. And it had like missiles in it or some shit with like a counter for the ammunition. I love that shit. It was great. Is that how much ammunition there was for like the bombs or whatever? Gotta love that, bro. That's always good. And that shit was armored as a motherfucker too. They threw grenades in it, shot RPGs in it and shit. Nothing would do anything to it. It didn't do nothing. You know, there was no fire or nothing on it, like the fire in space during the Acolyte or anything like that. There wasn't anything like that. No fire, nothing. That tank was beast, bro. That like, he's like, some people have called it the Batmobile or some shit. Motherfucker, I'm like, that's not the Batmobile. The Batmobile doesn't have like a missile launcher on it or whatever the fuck that thing is, that big gun he has. That shit is crazy. That cannon he has, that cannon launcher shit, that's dope as fuck. I'll tell you right now. Anything with a cannon launcher or whatever is fucking dope. It's awesome. I didn't realize he was using rubber bullets until was that leader actually a mutant? Was he like the one mutant out of all of them that actually was a mutant? And that's why he was so like swole, like Darth Swole.
Yeah, that's what he is called.
he was jacked, bro. That motherfucker was jacked.
Those nipples was crazy though, bro. I know y'all saw those crazy nipples. They needed to,
Thank you for bringing up the nipples.
He looked like he was in the Madonna and Vogue video or some shit.
Yeah, like he was into something else. He had like, I was just imagining like ugh.
Yeah,
I was just kind of.
He was hanging out with Madonna, bro.
I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, like who the hell replaces their nipples with spikes? I mean, this is just fucking weird.
He was hanging out with people in the Vogue video, bro. The Vogue dimension.
Apparently.
He's like some weird daddy at one of those BDSM clubs, like. But then I just kept.
He had mutant teeth and shit and all that stuff. So I think he was the one mutant. So at least there was one mutant, and he didn't have those stupid. He didn't have those stupid Cyclops glasses either. He was the one dude that decided not to wear those fucking things. Like the other assholes.
Sure.
Yeah, they need to put that guy Antonio Guzman, you know, Cheech from Scarface. That guy, imagine him as the mutant. That would be gold. I would watch that, bro. At least add some humor to it, because this was just cringy and creepy. The nipples mode, too much, man. It was worse than the bat suit in Batman and Robin with Schwarzenegger. That's how cringe those nipples were.
Please don't even breathe that.
So obviously everybody and their cousin knew. Dead people knew that Bulldyke Robin was going to save Batman. Yo, Batman got fucked up, bro. That big mutant dude hit him with a fucking crowbar like 6-7 fucking times, dude. That's fucked up, bro. He fucked Batman up, bro. Like, for reals. He stomped the fuck out of him. Like, you should not be alive for that. You should not be living. Or whatever, like, after that beating he took. He got fucked up, bro. And, like, since when does anybody actually call Batman out to throw fists? The dude was like, I want to see you throw with your hands or whatever. Like, who the fuck says it's a Batman, bro? Fuck that shit. It's Batman, motherfucker. What are you fucking kidding me? Throw hands. That's all Batman does. He wakes up in the morning and throws hands at motherfuckers, bro. Come on now. Seriously. Motherfucker in his sleep eats motherfuckers up hand to hand. It's Batman. You're asking the wrong motherfucker to go hand to hand, bro. Seriously. So, like, of course, Robin had to save his Batman's life and all that shit. Fuck you. That was fucking stupid, bro. I don't know what happened with that. Frank Miller would not have approved that, bro. And the whole deal with him, fucking, why did he just take that gum shit he had or whatever that he threw on that motherfucker's mouth that stopped him from breathing and knocked him out? Why didn't he just do that shit like 10 minutes ago? Motherfuckers got stopped. And then, like, what the fuck was going on with him? How did he, like, survive? How did Batman manage to fucking, like, heal his injuries by just walking around with his shirt off and shit and, like, walking it off? Motherfucker had internal bleeding and shit from the crowbar hits, bro. Internal bleeding and shit. And he just walks it off. Alfred's like, he's just going to walk it off in the cave or whatever. Some shit. He had to go to the hospital before, but now he's going to walk around with his shirt off and go talk to some bat god or some shit or whatever that's in the black. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that shit. The bat god. That shit was crazy, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I'm surprised the bat god didn't have a pair of those fucking Cyclops glasses on. You know what I'm saying? Like the Cyclops glasses? I need a pair. Like, I'm telling you, dude.
I mean, this 13-year-old broad who never was an acrobat, never took a day of martial arts, all of a sudden can...
That's the thing. In that battle scene, in the fight scene, now she's evolved her fighting game to where she's actually stopping dudes. She started stopping dudes now.
And she's carrying 180-pound dude. Like, how's she carrying him?
It's only been it's been less than 10 minutes since her first time like stopping a buggy or whatever, where she didn't even fight the dude. Now she just starts coming in and just swooping in and kicking dudes and shit, knocking them out. Right? Like, it was almost like Miss Marvel in the Marvels. How her hand-to-hand skills went from nothing to like Jean-Claude Van Damme and shit by the Marvels. It was similar to that. So I don't know what was up with that. I mean, honestly. And what was up with the Bulldyke Robin getting into fucking Bruce Wayne's shit with his password? What was she? Is she a hacker too? Is that like? What, is she also a hacker? Is she like? Can she do everything? How does she know his password like that? What the fuck was up with that, bro? Why did Alfred say something to her? Like, bro, get out of the fucking shit.
She didn't hack. Like, she didn't hack. Like, she got stopped by Alfred.
She knew the password. She logged right into his shit.
Wait, Cyber, did she? No, not. I probably have to see it again. Okay.
Yeah, she did. She did some weird way. She did manage to hack it because that's the only way she managed to navigate to get control of the vessel.
Oh, yeah, the vessel. Yeah. I agree with you, Jeff, because she did that with the chopper, and that was so weird, like how she controlled the chopper later in the film, but which we cannot get into.
Anyways, weird. Thank you, Andreas. I appreciate it. Yes, so that's all I have, Cyber. I'm out. Peace.
Great job, sir. Great job. Everyone, another 20 million points for y'all. Y'all are doing great tonight. You guys are fantastic. I do have to give that Mr. Jeff is riding his way into the MVP spot tonight. He's done a great job tonight. Just have to give him that shout out there.
Don't feel bad. I usually win the Shogun Award most times, so apparently I think I might be pretty good on the panel sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Anyways, shout out to Dom in the comments here. Thank you very much for being in the comments, Dom. You are doing a great job, sir. Just wanted to shout you out. All right. Excellent job, guys. All very well done. So talking a little bit about talk a little bit more about James Gordon's character in this film. What are you guys' thoughts on this James Gordon, this retiring James Gordon, this supposedly he's like 15 years older than Batman type of deal, which I've never thought that James Gordon was that much older than Batman. Just from in the movies and stuff like that, he seemed a little bit older, but I didn't feel like he was like almost 20 years older. But what are your overall thoughts on James Gordon up to this point, him retiring, how he kind of he's taking on the mutants and all the crime in the thing. Everyone hates him basically, and just kind of your thoughts on James Gordon in this animated film, part 1 here, starting with you, Aston.
I think that the portrayal of Gordon here, it felt a little vanilla. It wasn't wow, but it wasn't bad. Like, I'm not gonna say it was a bad portrayal. Like, I know it's an animated series, but I feel they could have done a little bit better with him, because he is dealing with like retiring, and he's he's retiring from like San Bernardino or something. He's retiring from like Gotham City, where like he knows that like Batman's old, everything's kind of falling apart. I feel they didn't set up his internal struggle after that dinner as well as they did it with Bruce, and I get it. He's not going to have the same screen time. I mean, they show it like I wish he got mad more, or that when he was depressed, like he kind of voiced those things a little bit better, because it pretty much was him walking a few scenes. We just have a few scenes of him walking back and forth, whether it was groceries or whatever the hell it is. Like, maybe if he was thinking to himself deeper sort of thoughts, like, hey, like, damn, they're going to replace me with this crazy broad. Like, certain things were unsaid, which I felt would have made him a little more human in that sense. But it was a decent portrayal. The age thing did take me for a loop, but I feel we're all confused because, like, how many of y'all watched Gotham? Show of hands, the series Gotham. So, like, yeah, that throws me for a loop. Yeah, so exactly, guys. It throws me a little bit for a loop because the age difference there is, like, huge. Like, it's a huge age difference. So, like, yeah, but in my head, I never saw it as that much of a difference. Like, maybe 10 years max, tops, if that. But, like, 5 is also very much doable based on other content I've seen. But then again, who am I to judge? I feel that part of the age wasn't as much a thing as, like, the lack of a little more drama from him. That's it from me. Like, punching out 2's up.
Yep. Jeff, any thoughts on James Gordon, in this film so far?
Shout out to Jack Daniel's Southern Peach. It's really good. I really like it. It's if my green screen will quit long enough for me to actually show the bottle, that's what it looks like. That's the color of it. It's really good. I really like it. Jack Daniel's Southern Peach. Gordon, he's just okay in the movie. He's not like Gordon in the movie, He's not like the James Gordon or some shit to where you're like, oh shit, Gordon's in the movie. It's more like, oh, okay, Gordon's in the movie. You feel me? See the difference in those two, iterations? So there you go. This was definitely Gordon was in there, but just like the mutants, it was it was a mixed bag, bro. You know what I'm saying? The voice actor could have been a little better and singularized more Gordon, as a character, made it more distinct and more interesting, probably. Or if we would have saw him actually like in action scenes a little bit or something like that, maybe that would have been nice. Actually, like getting in there and like fighting or whatever. But we don't really see that, unfortunately, with him. So I always like Gordon in anything that he's in, no matter who plays him. I always like him. He's always a good addition to everything. And same thing with this movie. He fills up space, adds a nice side character to the film, busts the bat signal out and all that shit, which is like a prerequisite Batman film. So that was, it's good to have him there to do that. Besides that, like, I could have done without the whole passing the torch to the new captain shit and all that, to the Bulldyke captain at the end of the movie.
Agreed. Good job. Andreas, any thoughts on James Gordon in this?
Yeah, I kind of agree with the majority here. Like, mostly the voice actor. I do agree. I'm not really fun with the actor that voiced Gordon. I mean, he's not as bad as maybe some of the other Gordons. Like I don't like the one in the Arkham game, the first one, Arkham Asylum video game. That one is really, really bad voice actor. But I mean, compared this to year one, yeah, his role is very different, but it does feel the importance about the themes and what's going on with Dark Knight Returns, especially for that commissioner, who doesn't get enough to do. It's She has to learn that Batman is a necessary tool to help Gotham to be safe, So that's why we still have Gordon here in this story, which is great. So and also I had to be biased too. Like, I mean, Frank Miller is the first writer to like give Gordon some like something to do and like be important into the story. So like at least this story starts that, and then after this we get better James Gordon stories. So that's my mind here with James Gordon. But he's good. He's good in this story. It's not as good as Batman Year One if you want that type of James Gordon.
Excellent. Thank you, Andreas. Good job, everyone. 20 million more points for everyone. Great job. All right. So, moving on. All right. So, basically from there, we find out that Batman has Kelly disguise herself as a mutant so that she can lure the gang to a sewer outlet at the West River. At the Gotham City Police Department, the mutant leader murders the mayor during negotiations. Commissioner Gordon deliberately releases the leader, providing escape from the building, which leads to the sewer outlet. Before the amassed mutants, Batman fights the leader in a mud pit. The mud slows the leader, removing his physical advantage, and Batman overpowers him. Seeing their leader's defeat, the mutant divides into smaller gangs, with one becoming the Sons of Batman, a violent vigilante group, which was kind of hilarious at the end of this film. The guy has a Batman painted over his face and all this kind of crap. It's hilarious, I think. Totally like something that would happen in real life with somebody, being in love with somebody, they would do that and start their own like gang or whatever. Batman's victory becomes public, and the city inhabitants are inspired to stand up against crime. Gordon retires after meeting his anti-Batman successor, Alan Yindel. In Arkham, televised reports about Batman bring the Joker out of his catatonic state. Ooh, which will lead him to part 2, I feel. Grazie, everyone. Anyways, so going kind of back to the mutant leader there for a second, it's kind of funny. That whole sequence where he's in the jail and the basically is being let out and stuff like that. We get all that like grinning face look and everything, and he's showing his teeth and stuff. And this is really where we get nipple action with the spikes coming out of his chest for some odd reason. Which, like I said, I don't get this masochism, dude. That's a mutant. I mean, I know they want to go graphic novel here, but I mean, do we need nipple clamps here? I don't think so. But anyways,
And how did he become a fucking mutant? Like that shit's really, you know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna have a mutant like in the movie and not even give it an origin story for the mutant?
right,
What the fuck is
right,
that, bro? Come on now. How'd you become a
exactly.
mutant, motherfucker?
Exactly. And we get kind of that interesting scene. I kind of just like laughed throughout the whole sequence because of the nipple thing, and then at the same time I just felt like this mutant was like didn't seem scary or frightening to me, especially for Batman. I feel Batman saw this guy and was kind of like, look at this chooch. Like seriously, like I'm not even like scared of this dude. I'll beat the shit out of him, basically. Because this is fucking Batman. I mean, he's gone up the Joker. He's gone after the Scarecrow. I mean, he's had really good villains he's fought against. This guy just looks like a guy that just came out of a S&M club, maybe even a gay one. I don't know. He could have been coming out of anywhere there, so who knows?
He
But
was definitely
anyways,
gay.
A Chippendales.
Yeah.
That guy was definitely gay, bro. He was
Yeah.
fucking gay. He was a queer beau.
Yes. And so it was kind of cracking me up this whole time watching this guy. But pretty much, him leading up to his final fight, which I thought was an okay fight. I don't think it was the best fight of the film. I definitely felt a few of the other fights were better, but definitely was a conclusion to this film. We get, of course, the retirement of Gordon, here, and we get introduced to Ellen Yandel, who we briefly saw earlier. But having the Joker come out of his catatonic state, I thought was a really great way of ending it. But like him not looking like the Joker at all, like he wasn't white faced and had the green hair or anything like that, was kind of interesting. They were kind of going for more of a realistic look, kind of like the Joker in the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I thought was kind of interesting take on this. I'm not sure how it was in the comics because I didn't read the comic for this, or the graphic novel, I should say. But he definitely, I think, it was a different choice to go with what this Joker would be. But yeah, definitely a very interesting ending. So, what are your guys' thoughts on kind of the conclusion of the film? What are you guys' thoughts on how they left off things with Kelly, her being Batman's protege? And what did you think about that final fight? What did you think about this new commissioner coming in? What did you think about these gangs becoming like divided into little divides, and the ones being sons of Batman and stuff like that? What are your thoughts kind of on that conclusion of this film? And I'll start with you, Aston.
Thank you very much, Cyber. With me, the conclusion, it's good because it does follow the first two in the graphic novel, because it's several books in the graphic novel. So this pretty much sums up the two first volumes or issues that are in the graphic novel. So it does a good job of, he goes to town on this guy, totally saves the day. Chick Robin has her little moment in the sunshine. Sadly, we lose Alfred. I feel it displays a finality. It's like it does well to show like there is a coming of age, of what's happening in this flick. And it's interesting. They set up the Joker real well. Seeing what happened with Dent was also that was also something like interesting for people to like. It foreshadows stuff, and I mean, obviously, because it says part one, you're waiting. And I remember when it first came out that I was like, I got to see what happens in the next one, because it wasn't even half the book. It was just the first two out of, I think, 6 in the graphic novel, or 5. So it isn't even like, and I get it, it's hard to do a clean cut. But as you said it yourself, the Joker, like, it's like you hinted the Joker, and like, now I'm going to wait for this for, I think it was a year, right? Or less, 8 months maybe, till the next book came out. But yeah, the movie was it was okay. I feel the ending, you're supposed to show Batman, pull out his tricks, save the day at the end. He gets, the leadership role with the gang, and it leaves things unsaid so that you can walk into it on the next one. So in my mind, they did a good job there. And I'm just waving hands like I'm Italian. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
He's Italian, people. He's Italian. Yeah. Where's the Romano? Where's the spaghetti? The fettuccine? Ah, great Italiano. Ah, nothing wrong with that. We love the Italians. They're very wonderful. They make a great pasta. Anyways, so great job there, Aston. Great job. Great job. Sir Jeff, your thoughts, sir, on the conclusion of the film?
It's so funny to have anybody address me with the word "sir" before my title, before my name. You know, like just because this is I'm literally the most despicable dude on the panel. Like I could win the Shogun Award and all that, but it doesn't matter because when it comes to like who's the most despicable panelist on the show, I'm always the Shogun Award winner in that regard. Just to be clear, I'm a lot more fucking like dark and freaky than the leader of the mutants with the fucking Madonna fucking Vogue fucking titty clamps or whatever the fuck spikes or whatever the fuck he's got going on. That pussy ass fucking queer. Tell you, dude. Seriously. I thought he was gonna blow that mayor, not eat him, blow him, like give him a blowjob. Seriously. That's what I thought was gonna happen. But so yeah, I mean watching Batman beat ass, whether it's animated or live action, is really cool. It's a definite highlight in life. Like whenever you could have that happen for you, it's always positive. Seeing Batman go about his business with people and shit and whatnot, that's one thing where Batman delivers for you, no matter what. Is like when it comes to Batman fighting crime and all that shit and fighting motherfuckers, he's Batman, bro. He don't give up. He just fucking it's a never ending. He just fucking you're gonna lose, bro, against Batman. No matter what, he's gonna win. That's how it has to be. So you're fucked. Like when Batman's on your ass. And I just had a really hard time taking the mutant seriously throughout the film. After a while, everybody started wearing those Cyclops glasses. I was like, "Yo, is Cyclops in the fucking movie? What's up? Fucking Cyclops is in this bitch. What the fuck is going on here?"
I think
everybody had those on.
Just to throw this out there, it definitely I think was a time of 1986. That was very much popular in 86, those types of glasses and stuff like that, the neon and all that stuff. So I think that's why a lot of them were in that, because it was very dated for 1986.
When I saw Kelly wearing them, I about fell out on the motorcycle. I was like, yo, now Kelly's wearing them, bro. What's up? Now she's wearing them bitches. What's going on with this shit? Come on now. Seriously, the Cyclops shit's got to stop. These fucking mute motherfuckers. It's hard to take them seriously. You had the two fucking mute motherfuckers that were like the Dwiddle Dums, Dwiddle D's of the fucking organization, right? Like doing the fucking breakdown of the fight, The one dude's like, yo, Batman's no spliff or some shit. No shit, bruh. Or some shit. Like they come with their own like hip language, they come up with their own like hip, jargon for the movie. I love it, bro. Yo, Batman no shit, bruh. Batman no shit, bruh. Let's do it. I'm serious, bro. You see that shit? They come up with their own shit. No shit, but all this shit they come up with. They have their own shit. I love it, bro. You gotta love it. So, yo, on the come up with their own language shit, the movie gets a 10 out of 10 for that shit. Their own like hipness, their own hip slang and shit and all that. I love that shit. I'm gonna be saying no shim or whatever on shit all the time now, forever. I'm telling you. And the whole using Kelly to like spread the word out to the mutants for the meeting and all that shit was so stupid too. Like, what a stupid premise, bro. Like, that is dumb as fuck. Like, the mutants just look dumb at this point. And just because Batman beat the dude's ass, now dudes are tattooing Batman on their face and shit and whatever and whatnot and going out and fighting crime. Get out of here, bro. With your Batman facial tattoo and shit. Fuck that shit. That's not cool. Nobody would actually do that. How like anybody would actually take somebody seriously that had a fucking Batman tattooed on their face. Seriously. I'd be like, fuck you, bro. And that's all I got, bro. Let's do it.
Pretty much. Great job, sir. Excellent. All right, Mr. Andres, your thoughts, sir, on the conclusion of the film?
Yeah. I mean, the conclusion of the film is very good. This is the part, that part where Batman's face again. the Million Layer is actually my first time seeing this story. Uh, as I brought up before, the new Batman Adventures adapted this into one of the episodes called "The Legends of Dark Knight." And this section, I was like, "Oh man, this is the Dark Knight Returns. It's so cool." And in that cartoon, the person that voiced Batman there was Michael Ironside from Total Recall. So I was like so shocked to see this sequence again, and like it just brought back some childhood memories, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, I remember this part, and it's fantastic. I mean, again, the fight scenes. I agree with some of you that yeah, the action here is not as good as some of the other ones in the film, but it's still very like very brutal still, and I think I really enjoy it. I like Peter Weller as Batman. I actually like him as Batman. I think he does a really good job of being Batman. I mean, he's an older Batman, so he's not gonna do the usual like Batman thing that we have seen with other Batman actors. So I appreciate his version of Batman is very different from the other Batmans we have so far. So I thought his performance here was really great, and just the way he speaks the lines from the Frank Miller run is really good, and it's like it sounds like Batman. Um, yeah, and of course, it was kind of convenient. I will say a nitpick. It was kind of convenient that the mutant leader, like how first off, how the hell he knew that like he's gonna escape and then ends up into the same place where Batman wants to fight. That is so convenient. That part I do agree with Jeff. How there are silly things in this movie, and that was so silly and convenient. I don't know. I don't know how they did that. So and yeah, and another thing, like Jeff brought up was like the newsreel that we had a couple here. I don't know if you guys pick up, but like this also influenced RoboCop. Like the new stuff here, like if you watch RoboCop again, they took a lot of things from the Dark Knight Returns from that into RoboCop here, and it's always funny to see those newsreel like being so satirical and satire, just like RoboCop. That's the point of Dark Knight Returns. It's saturating what was going on during the 1980s with the Cold War and all that, the Reagan era, which was so stupid during that time. But hey, that's what it was. Yeah, and then ending with the Joker, it was I mean, that's cool. I mean, we got teases, here and there in the film with the Joker, and like every time he hears Batman's name again, he started to like flinch, and then towards the end, he's like, "Oh, Batman, my darling," and he has his smile. I was like, "Yes." Oh, that was so cool and great way to end the movie. So overall, I like this third act. I mean, maybe not my favorite part of the film, but look, it delivers, in action packed and all that. So I'm very excited to talk about part two. I think part two is much better. But hey, it's not there.
Hey,
Excellent. Grazie.
Yeah. Where's my meatballs? Come on.
Mucho gracias, señorita. Anyways, great job there, Andres. Once again, everyone, millions and millions of points. Y'all did a great job tonight. Everyone. Congratulations. Anyways, that basically for me, the conclusion of the film. Like I said before, I thought that the fight wasn't as good as the previous fight. I definitely thought, the ending with Joker was, interesting, especially it makes you entices you to want to see part two. And it definitely wasn't the strongest ending to an DC animated film, but at the same time, I think overall it was an okay film. It was very middle class, I felt. It definitely did not do justice to the comic, the graphic novel. So I definitely have to check out that graphic novel here eventually to see the differences between the two, just to kind of get an idea. But I think overall everyone did a great job tonight. Fantastic job, everyone. Everyone is a Shogun Award winner tonight. All three of you have won one. You guys always tonight. Y'all are great. So each one of you receives the Shogun Award. And just FYI, do not let it go to your head, everyone. It's a one-time deal type of thing, especially talking to Jeff. Anyways, all great job, guys. Excellent. That is the conclusion of this episode review of part 1 of Batman Dark Knight Returns. So now we're going to go around and get our ratings, starting with you, Andres. What would you give this film?
Oh, that's a good one. Let's see. Part 1. Yeah, no, I'll give part 1 8 out of 10. I think it's a good film. Yeah, it's a good adaptation to the comic book, I would say. The little that I've seen and read, so I think this was a great adaptation. It captures the feel of the Frank Miller book very well, and I think that the animation is in high quality, which is good.
All right, thank you, Jeff.
I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think I've given 10s before on several of these DC animated films, and there's a reason I gave them 10s. At that point, if you're going to actually drop a 10 on something, it has to be at a certain level, a certain barrier of like excellence almost. So a certain standard of quality. And this movie, unfortunately, has its mixed bag going on with it that it brings with it, sadly. No matter what you want to say about it, it's got some mixed bag, cringy shit going on with it here or there. And it affects the movie a little bit in general. In terms of its overall watchability, beyond that first watch, it definitely takes a little bit of shine off of it. So that's why I'm going to give it a 7.5, and hopefully I can give a better rating on part 2.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Aston, your rating, sir.
Thank you very much, Cyber. For me, it's this might seem harsh, but I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 because, as you know, Jeff and everyone else has touched on, it's kind of middle of the road and stuff. And considering, the source material, I feel either go all the way or don't. So for me, it's like it's a 7, which is respectable. It's above average. Okay, let's be real. All of us would go out with a 7 right now if we were single. Right now, if a 7 hollered at us, would be there in the DMs. Okay, so I give it a 7. I felt it was okay, mixed bag, as Jeff said before me. I feel some things were done right. If we're talking translating from comic to the thing, yeah, the style is very similar, but where it loses me is they kind of Mary Sued Robin up a little bit too much. I feel the dialogue could have been a scotch better, but overall, 7 out of 10, nothing to cry about. Decent animated flick.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. I give it a 5 out of 10 because, like everyone said, it's in the middle of the pack. I think 5 is a middle ground for any film. So I give it a 5 out of 10 because it did have some great action. It had some okay animation. The soundtrack wasn't too bad. I thought some of the voiceovers weren't too shabby. So I have to give it a 5 for at least those aspects. Otherwise, I felt the rest of it just was nothing of great value or entertaining. So I give it a solid 5. All right. So that is it, folks. I'm now going to turn it over to Mr. Jeff to take us out.
Okay. First off, Andres, the pop culture guy.
Yep. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hey, thanks again for joining us for the Dark Knight Returns for you guys. Austin, it was great to see you again, brother. Hopefully you can come back in part 2. I'm up to 993 subscribers, so I'm almost there to the 100 mark. I just recently post the 10th anniversary trailer for Interstellar, and today as well my top 10 favorite Black Widow suits for her 60th anniversary this year, and tomorrow I will post my 10th anniversary tribute to Interstellar, so because this week was Christopher Nolan's birthday, and one of these movies had his anniversary T-shirt that was Interstellar. So, the Academy Award director. So, and I did the live stream with Jeff on Black Widow. Thank you, Jeff, again for joining me. Next time, our next live stream review will be Guardians of the Galaxy, because tomorrow's crazy. It's going to be August, but August 1st was the premiere of the first Guardians film. That was 10 years, which is crazy. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. And I'm getting better after getting affected by COVID, so I'm less sick, thankfully. So I was trying to talk less today because my throat still has a little tingle, but I should be getting better soon. So yeah.
Cyberneticshark, sir.
All right, folks. So if you enjoy me as a moderator or on the panel here at the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, you can check out my solo content. As you can see there, my most recent review there is Despicable Me 4, which is a fantastic film. If you have not seen it, highly recommend check out the review there and go see it if you haven't seen it in theaters. My most recent trailer reaction, of course, is a film called Heretic that's going to be coming out with Hugh Grant, which looks like a really decent film. It looks really fun. But so it's been fun out there. And yeah, I have put up a few shorts recently. I did Disturbia and Real Steel just recently. So if you haven't seen either of those films, check out those little mini reviews of that film there, of course. Great films. And yeah, I'll be having more stuff up for you, more trailer reactions, more reviews for you guys. I'll definitely be having my Deadpool and Wolverine review up soon. And definitely check out the mini review if you haven't seen it. No spoilers. Unfortunately, the review will probably have spoilers in it because by that time it comes out, it'll have been at least a couple weeks since it came out. So anyways, yeah, keep on trucking, keep on subscribing. I'm up to 1,130, and you guys are rocking it. So thank you all, new and old subscribers, and let's keep on doing this.
Aston, your website.
Hey, thanks. I want to thank everyone on the panel. Great guys. Shout out to Andre. I hope your recovery goes even better and you get to still enjoy August and the summer. Yeah, for me, nothing much. Just check out my website, astonmike.com. Got a record coming out in September. Till then, I'm going to be putting like blogs and sharing stuff about stuff I'm going to be reviewing and what I'm going to be streaming game-wise. Again, super thanks to everyone here at the MCU's Bleeding Edge, making me feel welcome every time I show up. Definitely the coolest stream you could listen to any day of the week. So thanks, guys. It's been awesome. And if you want to hear a cool suave Slav talk great on R&B beats, man, that's me. Like, check it out, astonmike.com. Thanks.
Shout out to Dom in the comments there. Glad you caught us again. Excellent. Thanks for being in the comments section, Dom.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dom. Yeah.
Definitely. We definitely appreciate it. And lastly, if I could pull it up, the MCU's Bleeding Edge for us this week, we're looking at Terminator 2 on Friday. 8/2, what? 8/1, I guess? 8/2, 24, 9:35 Eastern.
Yep.
We're busting off Terminator 2. We got a big panel. And we have House of the Dragon, episode 8, the finale. That's Monday. Yep. I'm moderating. We're doing it on our YouTube channel with Fantasy's Reality and Jermaine coming over with Chad over to our channel. And it's going to be the end of our interconnected series with Fantasy's Reality. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a good show. Hopefully, some of y'all that are checking us out tonight will come watch us on Monday and come watch us on Friday. And we love everybody that, out there that caught us on the live stream. We love everybody in general, but those of you that actually caught us live, we really appreciate you. And again, we appreciate everybody in the comment section. Thanks, Tom. And God bless everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time. Peace.